Touchstone?
Well, first of all, the name. I mean, I came on last year, but I mean, going back to my playing days on the West Coast, like it's what you did. You woke up as early as you could because it's on earlier out there, obviously, and figure out who the guys are picking and watching and saying what. But the names, I mean, it's just gotten bigger and bigger. Then you factor in Pat and Coach Saban coming on, like it doesn't get any better than those two guys. But I think we resonate, everywhere. And the idea of everybody wanting you to come to their place every week, which isn't possible. But it's, it's a fun. Some people call it a circus, but we look at it as a darn good time. And it's just fantastic to see the reaction we get. And, the build up, what these people do, letting us in, using the offices here. Like, it's great. And my first time here, and I'm super, super fired up. Glad we're here.
Did you think you'd get to Bloomington with a 7-0 Hoosier football team?
In the summer? No. I don't think you guys did either. But it's been awesome, man. It really has. I mean, you want to talk about Coach of the Year through 7 games. The way he's pieced this roster together. And then you look at the offensive line and how many 5th, 6-year guys. Like, to make that mold, you got to know what you're doing. And obviously, Coach has a stamp. I mean, we were at JMU last year for one of our biggest shows. Biggest show, I think, right, Julie? Right? Okay. And it's funny, I was thinking about that this week because not once, I mean, we had 20-something thousand, 23,000 people. Not once in that show of 3 hours did we mention App State, and App State won and beat JMU and cost them a undefeated season. So knowing that Coach Sig was there for that, I'm sure he's learned from that. And there's a way of controlling. He's the ultimate guy. I mean, the way he's kept guys motivated, talking to guys on the team with his halftime speeches. They've led. They have a school record for consecutive games, scoring 40 points. Like, everything is rolling. But how do you stay motivated? And that's the genius of what he's done.
With all the ties to IU, between Coach Corso and Coach Saban and Signetti going back, I guess what's it been like bringing the show here?
Just the idea of Coach. I mean, we're at the hotel this morning, and Coach Corso, he and I are in line getting a coffee, and the look on people's faces, the members of the 79 team, and then like their spouses, and just like it really hit you. Like, I'm like, man, I was 2 years old in 1979. I didn't know about the bowl team, but just the genuineness of here in Bloomington. Like, you could just feel it, and it's been awesome. I mean, Pat being here, we know what he's done in this state, and like it's monstrous, man. Like, the stories, you don't get that all the time, where you could tie this in, and Coach Corso and Pat, that idea of that here is just awesome. They were very, very lucky for the timing.
Pat's been a big proponent of this team, and with Coach Signetti, of course. How much did he play a part in getting the show here?
I think we all were on the same page. Like, when you looked at the possibilities, like we love going to the biggest stories. And in this conference, when you talk about all the change that's been on, that's what makes it so awesome. It's an old Big Ten school. And the idea that we did preseason, the first game back in, what was it, 2015? 17. Sorry. But now we get to, get the stage out. We're outside the stadium. We get to go in. Like, it has that true big game feel. So it's just, like I said, fortunate of the timing. It doesn't happen all the time where that works out that way. But, I mean, Pat's been a huge proponent of Coach. I mean, he goes back to Pittsburgh ties. Like, those guys are hardcore, remembering who played with who, what high school you played, what year you played them in the playoffs. So it's awesome. It just adds to the excitement level, and we're here.
Have you kind of felt that excitement just walking around Bloomington, being around campus?
Yeah, it's different. I mean, people were jacked up last night out at dinner and just fired up. I've tried to temper their expectations. I told them about JMU last year. They don't care. The idea of seeing your team score 40 plus in 7 straight weeks, it's kind of, I think, gotten to them, and it's all. I mean, they flipped the culture in the time he's been here, and that's what's awesome. That's what it's supposed to be. I always say this: there's nothing, you can't fake the excitement of a college campus. It's just the general enthusiasm, the energy, and it's sky high here. As you can tell, I haven't even been here 24 hours.
Steve, you may not know this, but Indiana does not have a mascot.
Mm-hmm.
So if Lee were to maybe pick IU to win this game, what would he use as a head?
I don't know. I was pushing for the candy cane pants, but he's usually sitting down, and we don't want to have to, change. But no, I was reading about that. What is it, like in the 60s and 70s, they tried the whole bison thing?
Bison,
Yeah,
That didn't work. And then there's a group that's still trying to bring it back or something like, oh man, it's
There was even a
Hoosiers.
Hoosier man at one time.
Really?
A big inflatable Hoosier man. Yes. To start with the West. He rode around a little moped.
I don't know. I haven't like that. I'm obviously is getting decided. There's a plan, but I try and go in not knowing who he's going to pick.
Okay.
And I believe last week was the first week he didn't get it right. He's been on fire with his picks, and he loves every single second of it. We do a super dog segment, so you got to pick an underdog. And he's the first one every week to text our producer with his pick. So he's locked in, man. Don't worry about it.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Feeling all right?
Yep.
You've been talking. Lee has got to be pumped up to be back. All the things that are going on for him, recognizing that bowl team that you already mentioned, a homecoming for him, not having been able to do this before. How excited has he been talking to you about this?
I said in the coffee shop, like he was amazed. I can't imagine being his age and having that many memories and like at a place for 10 years, and now I don't know when's the last time he saw half these people, but like there's a resonation that those people, like he gave them a lot of the best times of their life. It happens at college all the time. You're going to remember the best times, and you remember the people you were around and the places you went. So the idea that they were able to do that year is, what are we, 40 years, more than that, 50. Math's not great, but it's true, it just everything you wanted it to play out so far has with the recognition and the love that he's been shown. It's great.
With Kansas last year, now Indiana this year, you're looking at Assembly Hall as you talk to us. What's it like to see a basketball school, these basketball schools become football schools?
I had an idea that I was going to, Stanford guy going to Cal, it had a little trolling in me. And I was like, should I wear UConn gear? Because, I'm going to a basketball school just to show people. But I did not. Again, this is Coach Corso and Pat's show. I don't think it matters. Like, when you get this, you got a ranking next to your name. Every home game sold out, right, the rest of the way? That's – I don't care what kind. Like, it's football season, you're a football school. And, this fan base is starving for success, as a lot of other schools are, and a lot of schools will be super jealous of what the attention Indiana's got, but they deserve it. They've done it themselves, and that's everybody's like, oh, why don't you come to our place? I'm like, you're in control of that. You become the topic, we'll be there no matter where you are. So I don't look at it that way. Especially never being here, I've never stepped foot in there. So I just always remember as a kid, they never lost in that building. It was years and years. I just watched teams and laugh. I'm like, they're not going to win at Assembly Hall. So it's really cool to be at a place with an iconic building right there.
Do you plan on going in there at some point?
Yeah, I definitely want to walk around there. It's one of the not being like I got a chance to go to Fog Allen a couple of years ago, and they're like, oh, okay, you got this, and just that building resonates on TV, which a lot of buildings now, these newer ones, whether it's the crowd, whether the way they do the seats and the suites and all that building resonates TV. So I'm fired up to go over there.
What is Pat and Coach Saban, what do they add to the show, Saban this year and Pat?
Pat, obviously the energy, but like the idea of how he resonates with, the younger demo has just been incredible, and it's only gotten bigger as we go different places. We're out in Cal and Oregon 2 straight. We got 3 a.m. wake-up calls out there to get ready for the show, and the place is jumping at 4 in the morning. Coach is I think he's just upped everybody's level, like not even having a speech or anything, just the accountability of like, all right, Nick's coming on. Okay, people that are working on his segments, super dialed in, stuff, but just the accountability has gone up because of I think it's what we wanted. We thought his expectation might be, and it's just made everybody better.
the success Indiana's had this year, what's it kind of been like for Lee to watch this from afar? Like, is it kind of making him happy from afar?
It's yeah, for sure. He's still not picking Purdue any week of the season, so he loves that, seeing them down and Indiana up. But yeah, he's down in the office. He's taking a couple of walks. I saw his son was here, so like I think he's trying to take it in stride. But yeah, he's super jazzed up that the Hoosiers are playing well.
As a group, what do you got? You've seen this team. You see a lot of teams play week in, week out. Where do you rank this team as far as being in the elite? Because they are definitely in the CFP conversation.
No doubt. I think it's interesting how, as we get farther in October, we still want to learn about teams. We were in Austin last week, and when I'm going through it, I'm like, it's not their fault. You can only play on, who's on your schedule. But they hadn't played a team that could, throw the ball with success. So I wanted to see that. And then, you saw what happened with Georgia and how motivated they were. I think with Indiana, it's sort of the same lines. Like, they've pummeled everybody they've played. There's an attitude to them. But can you manage these expectations? I mean, this is a big deal. Washington's got nothing to lose. I think Jeff Fish is a great coach. And the idea of Coach Sig now with having to do it with a backup quarterback. I mean, like going back and watching the tape, I thought Taven was great because it's 28-7. He comes in the game, and I'm like, they're just going to run the ball and get out of here with a win, keep the undefeated season. No. 4 of the first 6 plays are passes. He throws 2 tuds, and they scored 28 more points. So that foot's on the gas, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the table tomorrow.
That's all the time we have. See you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Good luck.